What would you do if the company you built from nothing decided to fire you? Most people would walk away, broken and defeated. But not Steve Jobs. For him, being pushed out of Apple wasn't the end. It was the turning point that reshaped his life, and, ultimately, the tech industry itself. Jobs transformed failure into a comeback story that changed the way we live, work, and communicate. In this video, we'll explore how Jobs' painful fall from Apple sparked a wave of innovation that continues to shape the world today. Trust me, you'll want to hear this story. Steve Jobs co-founded Apple in 1976 with Steve Wozniak and Ronald Wayne. They started in a garage, building computers by hand, driven by a vision to make technology simple and accessible. Jobs wasn't a programmer, but he had a rare gift for seeing the potential of user-friendly design and sleek, functional products. The Apple II became a groundbreaking success, transforming Apple into one of the fastest-growing companies in history. Jobs wasn't just building computers, he was building a revolution that would put technology in the hands of everyday people. This vision laid the foundation for everything Apple would become. Jobs quickly gained a reputation as a bold and visionary leader. He pushed Apple to innovate at a pace few could match, always aiming for products that combined beauty with function. With the launch of the Macintosh in 1984, Apple introduced the world to the first successful computer with a graphical user interface. Jobs' attention to detail and belief in the marriage of design and technology made Apple stand out in a market filled with dull, complex machines. His rise was meteoric, but his intense personality and relentless demands on his team also began to create friction inside Apple. Jobs' passion for perfection often led to clashes with Apple's board of directors and CEO John Sculley, whom Jobs had personally hired. Jobs wanted to move fast and take big risks, while the board preferred a more conservative approach to protect profits. His strong-willed leadership style, though visionary, alienated some executives. The tension reached a breaking point when sales of the Macintosh didn't meet early expectations. The board sided with Sculley, leaving Jobs isolated. It was a brutal moment for a man who had poured his heart into building Apple, but the real shock was yet to come. In 1985, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he had co-founded just 9 years earlier. He was only 30 years old, and the news sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley. Jobs later admitted he felt devastated, humiliated, and unsure of his future. It wasn't just losing his job, it felt like losing a piece of himself. Yet this painful moment became a turning point. Instead of giving up, Jobs realized he had to reinvent himself. He left Apple with valuable lessons about leadership, focus, and humility, lessons that would set the stage for his legendary comeback. For Jobs, being fired wasn't the end. It was a fresh start. In a famous speech at Stanford, he said, "Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me." Without the pressure of running a massive company, Jobs rediscovered his creativity and drive. He began exploring new ideas, new technologies, and new ventures. Failure, instead of defining him, gave him clarity. Jobs learned to focus on what truly mattered, building products he loved, regardless of immediate success. This period of reflection and reinvention would shape the future of Apple and his legacy. Soon after leaving Apple, Jobs founded NXT, a company that aimed to build powerful, cutting-edge computers for universities and businesses. While NXT computers were admired for their design and advanced technology, they were too expensive and never achieved mainstream success. However, NXT's software would later become critical to Apple's future, forming the backbone of Mac OS. Jobs' time at NXT taught him valuable lessons about balancing innovation with market realities. Though NXT wasn't a commercial hit, it set the stage for his eventual return to Apple and proved that even setbacks can create stepping stones for greater achievements. While building Next, Jobs made another bold move. He bought a small, struggling graphics company from George Lucas. That company was Pixar. At first, Jobs had no idea it would revolutionize the film industry. Pixar's first film, Toy Story, released in 1995, became the world's first full-length computer animated movie and a massive success. Jobs' belief in creativity and storytelling paid off, turning Pixar into one of the most respected studios in the world. The success of Pixar not only made Jobs a billionaire, but also showed that his vision extended far beyond computers. He was shaping entertainment itself. By the mid-1990s, Apple was struggling, sales were declining, and the company was on the brink of collapse. In 1997, Apple bought Next for $429 million, bringing Jobs back to the company he had once been fired from. This time, Jobs returned not as a wounded founder, but as a seasoned leader with a clear vision. He quickly restructured the company, simplifying its product lineup and cutting unnecessary projects. Jobs' return marked the beginning of one of the greatest corporate turnarounds in history, proving that sometimes you have to leave to truly understand how to lead. Jobs' first major product after his return was the iMac, released in 1998. With its colorful, all-in-one design, the iMac wasn't just a computer. It was a statement that technology could be fun, stylish, and easy to use. The iMac was a huge success, breathing life back into Apple and restoring its reputation as a leader in innovation. This product set the tone for Apple's future, where design and user experience were just as important as technical power. Jobs showed that technology could inspire emotion, turning Apple from a struggling company into a cultural phenomenon once again. Jobs didn't stop with computers. In 2001, Apple introduced the iPod, transforming how people listen to music. Then came the iPhone in 2007, which redefined the smartphone industry, followed by the iPad in 2010, creating a whole new category of devices. These products weren't just gadgets, they changed industries, from music to telecommunications. Jobs' ability to combine cutting-edge technology with simple, beautiful design made Apple the most valuable company in the world. Each of these devices reflected his belief that technology should serve humanity, not overwhelm it, and they remain the gold standard for innovation. Jobs' journey from success to failure and back again taught him powerful lessons. He learned the importance of focus, saying no to 1,000 ideas to get one great product. He believed in hiring the best people and pushing them to achieve excellence, even if it meant being demanding. Jobs also learned that leadership is about vision, not just management. His failures, especially being fired from Apple, taught him humility and resilience. These lessons shaped the leader who would guide Apple to unprecedented heights, proving that great leadership often comes from learning the hard way. Steve Jobs passed away in 2011, but his legacy continues to shape the world. The products he created have transformed industries, from music to film to personal computing. More than that, Jobs' philosophy of innovation, combining technology, design, and simplicity, remains at the core of Apple's success. He showed the world that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of the journey. Jobs' story is a reminder that vision, persistence, and courage can change everything. Even today, his influence is felt every time someone uses an iPhone, streams music, or dreams of building something revolutionary. Steve Jobs' story isn't just about technology, it's about resilience, creativity, and never giving up on your vision. Being fired from Apple could have ended his career, but instead, it became the spark that changed the world. If his journey inspired you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Behind the Glory for more powerful stories of visionaries who turned setbacks into success. Your support helps us bring you stories that remind us all, greatness often begins where failure seems to end.